This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us. Check out IWC, RWA, and more. And listeners like you, support this show at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Hungry as fuck, but I ain't starving yet. Chain for the pain, cocktail bar set. Never said I was a gangster or thug, but I'm an animal. Peanut for the taste of the fly.
Hey guys, it is the Indy Mayhem Show. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter here in Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA. This is a show where we talk with people in and around independent professional wrestling. And going to have some fun here today. Going to be reminiscing over the past year. It is the year end, and we're trying to get as many of these as possible in. And but of course, please go check out everything at WrestlingMayhemShow.com and IndyWrestling.us. You can find past interviews and podcasts over there. And of course, a lot of people we talk with on the show or promotions we talk about are featured on IndyWrestling.us and IndyWrestling.network. And I should throw a plug in there, free trial for the network if you want to go check out anything that we talked about. If you're a new subscriber, that's a thing that can happen. But anyways, with us today, he's checking his phone. Apparently he's already getting the comments, or he's already getting what the hell are you doing on the internet in the middle of the day.
Yeah,
Marshall Gambino is with us today.
Yes.
I was just reminiscing. Well, I don't know if you saw, I was posting a lot of old pictures. I found once again the us telling you to move it back in the day.
Did you post them on Facebook?
I didn't repost it. No, I was just going back through some old photos.
Shit.
And the old hey Gambinos, move this, and I think you're yelling at me. So,
yes,
but we've both lost weight since then.
Yeah. We're working on that Gambino reunion world tour.
Reunion.
We're working on that.
Go back to Japan. It'll be great.
Oh,
Well, Marshall, of course, proprietor over Prospect Pro Wrestling. We had you a year ago. Leading into that, and I wanted to, you're heading into your first year anniversary, so I wanted to get you back in to talk about that and everything going in with that. Of course, you have championship tournaments going on this weekend, Toys for Tots drive up there at the Worthington Civic Center. So you're a year in running your own company. How's it feel?
it's a lot of stress.
This is usually where I get the groan and the eye roll.
It's a lot of stress, man. The one thing that I'm very fortunate about, first off, is I have a good team behind me.
Mm-hmm.
That some that we won't name, some we can. But I have a good team behind me, and it makes it a lot easier. I could never imagine doing this by myself. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I was thinking about like when Norm used to run IWC, he basically did it by himself. I'm like, how the hell do you do that? Like, that's
interesting because I've heard of like booking teams and things like that, like for everybody since. But yeah, I don't remember anybody else being involved.
No, I mean, like with us, the booking. I like to take the booking as a one-stop shop.
Mm-hmm.
It's me.
Mm-hmm.
I do have input from other people, but at the end of the day, if it succeeds, great for me. If it fails, I want it to be on me and my fault, nobody else's. So then I can never question it. But yeah, man, there's so much. The show's in 2 days, and I'm still not ready. I was working on video stuff until 2:30 this morning.
Mm-hmm.
It never ends. I mean, it goes from start to finish planning out the show. Then there's the backside of the payroll and ticket sales and promotions, but like I said, I have a good team in place. I have a great social media guy that handles it, handles all of our Facebook stuff. Ben and Rachel Dinas, who Ben's become my right hand man since starting this. They handle a lot of the business up north because I can't always get up there to in person.
And we're talking about Worthington, which is northeast of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, about an hour from here.
Yeah.
From the studios here, but I mean, it's a lot of work, and now you when you take something like when you want to give back a case with Toys for Tots, it's a whole nother demon. You're adding more on, and it's crazy, but we'll get through it. If not, I'll have a heart attack.
Welcome to wrestling. Hey, it's worked for Rick Diamond at least like 3 times. So, and he's still going.
Yeah.
But anyways, love you, Rick. But so a year ago, I mean, you were talking a lot about like kind of your plan for Prospect. About it was kind of a place for some of this younger talent because there's a lot of younger talent, a lot of really promising younger talent too. Like I'm always amazed by the state of Pittsburgh wrestling and the trainees coming out or people coming into Pittsburgh. You know, there's a lot here, and you know, we always say there's too many. You know, there's too many companies. There's a lot of companies, whatever your line is, but there's a lot of talent to fill those companies. It seems.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I didn't when we initially started, you know, with the idea, the concept was let's take new guys, let's put them with older established guys, give them a platform where they can work and move on to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
In our case, I've said in the past is when me and Mickey were coming up, Black Diamond did that for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's basically the only place you had to go to hone,
and it still does to this day for a lot of people.
It still does. Yeah. The problem is, like you said, there's so many now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, Black Diamond, they can't handle it all. Rise can't handle it all. I can't handle it all. But if we take guys and we give them opportunity to hone the craft, get in front of crowds, you know, work on stuff,
and have veterans behind the curtain that are helping out.
And that's the big thing with us is if you look at the shows that we did this year is 90% of it was younger guys working with older guys, and the older guys help elevate. Where, and it's no offense to anybody, any of the older guys in the business, but there has been times where you've seen that formula try to be duplicated in a sense, but in the end, it was more so the older guys just kept going over and over. I mean, it's almost like we got to pass the torch in a sense, and I still get to do that with being the creative side of it. You know, I think I got one of the best locker rooms in Western Pennsylvania. The guys that work for me are great, and you know, one of the biggest things we've always said was we want people to work for 2PW that want to be here, that believe in what we're doing. Don't look at it as another payday or you're just coming in. I mean, yeah, you're going to come in and you're going to elevate yourself and, you know, get better, but we want you here mainly because you believe in what we're doing and you're willing to help whatever it takes to get to that.
And you're working in an area that does, you know, whereas, you know, I've always kind of bemoaned the fact that there's like literally a section in the south of Pittsburgh that has like 3 companies that will work the same night, literally 15 minutes down the road from each other. You're somewhere else. You're in a new backyard trying to establish something there in the Pittsburgh's Northeast territory, we'll call it, for lack of a better term, right?
That's exactly
so,
it. Yeah.
I mean, you're basically planting your flag on something new.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we try not to run, you know, same nights as other people, but
there's also so many companies.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I have different agreements with different companies. For you know, I have agreement with Revenge, I have agreement with IWC, you know, RWA. So I have to be aware of when they're running shows too. So, you know, I don't want to. My goal is not to run against anybody.
Yeah,
I'm not looking to that. But the reality is, there's only so many dates on the calendar, and you have to get shows.
There's only so many Saturdays, as they say.
That's it.
So, and not too many people have had luck around here on other days.
No,
except for maybe WrestleRex. So,
well, yeah,
that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other weekday.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I want to get into that a little bit too, maybe. So you're a year in. You know, you talked about, you know, kind of having this kind of a place to establish these guys. Like, what have you seen, like, you know, with that platform? Like, who have you seen kind of take that platform and kind of run with it? It was at least better off than they were a year ago.
One of the ones that sticks out right away is Elijah Dean. I honestly, when we started, I didn't know too much about him. It's impressed the hell out of me with what he can do. You know, Roden, who I've always been a fan of Roden. He's coming into his own. A lot of the young guys. Another one that sticks out is Xander Gabriel. I just love what he does. All the guys are good in their own right. I mean, everybody if you sit back and you watch the first show, and then I just got done watching last month's show, it's night and day. I mean, you can just see, is it the best? No. But, one thing I've got an argument with a couple people over is I don't expect 2PW, this might sound stupid, but I don't expect to come out there and throw out a card, like a top tier show where like there's not going to be no mistakes. I expect mistakes.
Yeah,
that's what this is.
You're not Evolve.
No,
I'm
not Evolve.
You're
No.
not. Yeah,
far from it. This is more for, like I said, to work out those kinks and those errors. There's just honestly, I haven't any of the guys that came through in the past year. I mean, I've seen them all elevate. And I'll be honest with you, there was a couple guys, I won't mention names, but I was like, I don't know if this person has it. But then you watch them in a couple shows, and you're like, okay, yeah, this is making sense, and so.
Kind of the amazing thing, and filming wrestling for so long, and other watching other promotions like kind of come up. In the first year, I can't think of a time editing or filming with 2PW that I'm like, oh god, this match. Is it over yet? Like that has not really happened with that collection of people you have down there.
No, I mean,
and that still happens sometimes with promotions that have been around.
No, I agree with you. I don't know. I don't say that I have the secret sauce, but I just look at it a little bit differently. I'll be honest with you. One thing that is kind of weird was when we were doing the Pasta Deathmatch series.
Oh, good. I wanted to get into this.
Listen, it wasn't my idea. That was a chest flexor creation, all on him. And when he first said it to me, I kind of just like scratched my head and said, the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Because number one, anything that comes out of his mouth is, you never know what you're going to get, right? So, but when he says it, I'm like, okay. So then we had the first one, and I remember talking to you, and you're like, we're getting a ton of views on that. And I'm like, okay. So it's just weird things, like niche stuff we're trying to, another example is, and I'm not trying to say that nobody stole the ideas, but it's funny. We do a casket match. Some other place does a casket match. We do a stretcher match. Another place comes up with a stretcher. I'm waiting for the blindfold match next. I mean, I'm not saying it's not mine, it's not original, but when's the last time you've seen that around here?
Yeah.
Last time I seen a casket match, it was Black Diamond.
And I don't think I can't remember the last time I can't remember ever filming a blindfold match, to be quite honest.
Yeah. So I mean, we're just trying to think out of the box a little bit, do things differently, but and have fun doing it. Because once wrestling, I've said this for years, once wrestling is not fun anymore, it's not worth doing it. So because we're not getting rich.
So tell me, the Pasta Death match. Okay. This was the first one happens.
What a mess.
And I remember there were plenty of stipulations when we had the second one. Yes. Also, by the way, in between was Baguette on a pole match, which has been debated on our shows multiple times on whether how Italian that was, because we think it's a French item. So that's European close enough.
Yeah,
like us watching on the internet and fans in Worthington are not being geographical.
Put it this way, Mambo signed off on it, so okay. we'll take it.
And Mambo is a legitimate Italian. If you don't believe that, go listen to his interview with us.
Yeah.
So you pitch this, it happens. I know there was a mess to clean up. And kind of the story thing, every time I know your ring is involved, is like, it seems like your ring has had the most inventive messes in 1 year of any
That was terrible, man. It took a whole afternoon. And you know what? So back up. We didn't have, when we first did the first one, there was no stipulations. Like we didn't have no guidelines.
It's like, hey, we can have pasta.
Yeah. Well, as soon as they pulled out the cooked pasta, I said, this cannot be good. This is not going to be good, because you know what happens when you step on cooked pasta on a canvas? It kind of joins together. It becomes one. So, I mean, it was messy. It was a hell of a cleanup. I remember we were there late So there was pasta noodles everywhere in the building. I mean, it was insane. Just a lot of work. So when we did the last one, we put a little bit more control behind it, to take precautions. No cooked pasta and stuff like it. But it was crazy. Then the fans, that last one was fans bring the pasta.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in the back at the end of the night, there was boxes still unopened. And guys are like, what do you want to do this? I'm like, well, it's unopened. You can take it with you. So guys were taking boxes of pasta home to cook.
Or like, it's the new handshake and a hot dog. Let me give you a pat and a penny.
Oh, handshake and a hot dog. Happy anniversary.
A pat and a penny, a pat and a pasta.
That's it. That's insane. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one for rigatoni, but I don't think it's appropriate for air.
No, but it was fun. And like, I had another, it was, so a couple months after that happened, the last match,
mm-hmm.
I get a message from a promoter.
Mm-hmm.
It says, hey, do you mind if we use the pasta death match? I'm like, I don't care. It's not my match. I didn't come up with it. I mean, you check with the creator.
So like in the first year, like you kind of have that thing that 2PW is known for.
Is that what you want to be known for in your first year? Is a bunch of pasta thrown around?
But it is now, right? I mean, last show there was people chanting the pasta death match.
Oh yeah,
you had a couple of shows ago was the roulette wheel.
Yeah,
every stipulation.
Yeah.
And I think pasta death match was in there.
It was,
and everybody was disappointed whenever it was not.
But when they brought the Legos and the marshmallows out, that trumped everything.
It did, yeah.
Which was another mess in itself.
Yeah, and marshmallows were a problem.
Marshmallows on a canvas that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
you have to get out.
Yeah, but, yeah. Speaking, since we're talking about the ring, I say you talking about some of the other companies you have agreements with. Your ring, I'll go to a show and be like, "Is that Marshall's ring?"
Yeah,
and
my ring travels. It's like
it gets around.
It's like the neighborhood whore. It does get around, and it's cheap.
So obviously, we see you backstage at other shows. We know you're at IWC, Revenge Pro,
Mm-hmm.
Wrestle Rex, for instance. Is that helping to kind of inform? Are you seeing new talent for a prospect? Kind of being in the vibe of what's going on in the industry around.
So the IWC thing is, I mean, that's home. That's always been home base.
Yeah, obviously.
I stay in contact with LaRusso and Palace, who run the training school.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see from time to time what's going on there. I do pay attention with who's working and all that. That's more so that's a production agreement with IWC. I mean, that's lights and audio. That's all my stuff. So that's an agreement there. I do keep a pulse on it, talk to the guys. When I'm scouting, like to see talent-wise, I'll actually go to IBC's training school. I was just down there a couple weeks ago. They had their graduation matches and sat there and watched. The Revenge thing is kind of the same thing. It's not so much a scouting. It's like I said, it's more of a production. John had, when they started Revenge, they needed a ring and everything, and I kind of added my production. So I run behind the scenes. I run their lighting and audio and all that stuff, and I enjoy doing that because I'm still a part of it. And it's weird. I don't wrestle. I'm still a part of it, but yet, like, it's different than a 2PW show, whereas I have my finger on everything in a 2PW show, whereas, like, I'm going to these other shows, I just have to set up and run the production. So I don't have to think of the creative. I don't have to deal with the personnel. Yeah. So it's like, okay, what do we do? What this weekend? What's going on? You know what I mean? Like, do I got to run the show? Do I got to just show up and put stuff together? Like, sometimes it's too much, but then, like, in the RWA, I'll just show up on an RWA show just to see what's going on. I have nothing to do there, but I'll just see what, just make an appearance. And
well, wild shit they're up to this month.
What do you say? That's feel bad, man.
Yeah,
that's like the mental patient running the asylum down there. I mean,
between that and you take a leash off hentai, it's just like,
oh Jesus, right. Yeah.
I was just like, all right, what lewd gesture am I gifting this month?
Yes,
and
I know you look forward to.
Oh
that,
yeah, I gif them and I send them to Dutters.
Can we get some Dutter gifts?
She's got the headphones on back there.
She's not paying attention.
She's not paying attention. Anyways,
it's like, can we get some Dutter gifts? Can you just send them over to my account? Dutter that sits here. Dutter. Can I get some Dutter? I mean, you guys got gifts of everybody else. What the hell?
We do have the one of her stepping over the rope. PB Smooth once taught her how to step over the top rope.
God. Okay.
That's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyways, so leading up here, you got the big show. You have had no championship belts for the first year.
Yes. By design.
By design.
I
mean, we've seen other belts. We've seen RWA belts. We've seen Eclipse's belt representing, which is, that's always cool to see. And Revenge kind of does a lot of this too, where there seems to be like, Team Storm will show up with remix belts. So there's like this kind of,
and that won't change.
Yeah,
with us.
Yeah,
just because we implement.
It's not. It's not pushing away that idea.
No, not at all. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, you get some people that are, oh, well, this guy's running here. I mean, I really don't care. Come in, bring a belt. If anything, it's advertisement. So okay, well, I seen Bronco. He had a title from RWA. Well, what's RWA? Let me look at RWA. Okay, well, I got this. Okay, well, I know he wrestles here. Let's. It's kind of spreading the wealth. I don't need to have it all. I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of want, for the most part, everybody to do well, right? And it's just, in a way, my philosophy is a wrestling show should be just a big advertisement for the guys, because
they're the brands.
Yeah,
more than like it's kind of like, it's kind of hard to distinguish because everybody's a 4-letter or 3-letter company and they're all doing wrestling, right?
Yeah.
But it's really like, I'm a fan of John Roden. I'm a fan of Jason Gorey,
which I've seen. I've seen guys. I know there are guys that come strictly to 2PW because of Roden. Like, they ain't coming any other way. And here's the end of the deal: whether any promoter likes to admit or not, if you don't have the guys, you don't have a damn show. You don't have a promotion. You don't. You can't sit there and stroke your own ego if you don't have nobody. Like, if I can spread it out, where, okay, Roden's example, if Roden's a champion somewhere. Well, I want him to advertise it. He needs to be proud of that. For whatever the reason he's a champion, he's a champion. He worked there. He got it. Come do my thing, and it kind of just, and I think it makes it, in the end, it makes it easier to work with other promotions in a sense too. Like I said, if I'm so worried about a guy coming in and has a belt from another company, then I shouldn't be booking that guy at all. Especially when you're in the distances this great. Like, yeah. Here's the thing. The reality is, I know that most of the RWA people isn't coming to a 2PW show, and 2PW fans, most of them, aren't coming to an RWA show.
But you'll get those few stragglers.
Well, you will. And, in this case, Roden, I've seen the crossover, right? So that's good. Whereas Roden started working for me, but he was working for RWA first, so those guys were down there, so that he brought those to me, right? So why not, if I have somebody there, this new fan says, where's he work? Well, okay, he works IWC or he works RWA. Oh, I'm going to go down there and see him. It just kind of helps. Like I said, I don't.
So it's kind of this philosophy, and this is something I've preached for years, like just bringing not a company up, bringing wrestling up in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more so of the guys, because here's the result is, if I can take a guy like Roden and he gets signed, well, he's worked for me for a year, I can make some money off of it. Not to say that's my goal, but do you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be video. I can say that he worked for me. You know what I mean? Same thing with, like, RWA could do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
like now, like RWA can say, like, yeah, Shane Taylor, that guy that's like tearing it up right now. It's like, yeah, hey, he was with us. He came from here. There's a little bit of a pedigree at a certain point. I mean, IWC, has been from CM Punk to AJ Styles on. Yeah. That's where they cut their teeth. So that's a place, those kinds of people, and you become known for that. Who's next? Yeah. And kind of, hey, I don't know if a Man Dime's going to be popping up next, or, somebody brand new, like a Xander Gabriel or somebody, right? Yeah, no. And the thing is, too, is, so you get, if you know that you got a guy, like, let's just use Xander, for example. You have a guy like him,
and he's getting some steam over here, well, come on over here.
Mm-hmm.
Bring some of that over. Even if it's one person.
Mm-hmm.
That's one more extra. That's an extra fan in the seats. Do you know what I mean? This theory about, number one, the theory about hogging workers for yourself is just, I don't know why any worker wants to be chained to one place.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. Like, this isn't Evolve. This isn't, I'll even give like ROH or anything. I'll give them credit too. Outside of that, this is indie wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You should be working as much as you can to get as good as you can. And if somebody's filling your head with a bunch of bullshit that, oh, well, if you leave here, I can't book you here, it's ridiculous. If you're sitting there as a promoter or a person that's in charge of the booking, if you're that worried about it,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to reevaluate what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not the guys. The guys need to get out. In the end of not everybody, but most of the guys that want to work, they would like to get to AEW or WWE. We ain't gonna get that just sitting in one place.
No.
You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, but if anybody believes that because you're at one indie promotion, that's how you're getting elevated, you're out of your damn mind. Because it ain't happening. Now, you could be at one promotion and you could know somebody
Mm-hmm.
that could get you somewhere. That's called networking, which DJZ will tell you that. That's, I've had many conversations with him over the years where it's like the wrestling was one part of it, but he went out and networked with other people.
Mm-hmm.
There was no promotion that got him there.
Mm-hmm.
Not one single place. He went out and he networked. Guys need to learn how to network. I got guys that want to come work. They'll send me a message. Hey, what do you got for me? I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start by trying to act like a professional. Even though it's indie wrestling, we all like to have fun and we joke around with everybody. Let's act like a professional first.
It's still wrestling business is still a business.
It is. Do you think that if I have two guys, do you think I'm going to book the guy that says, hey, what do you got for me? Or a guy that says, hey, I'm so-and-so, I've worked here, this is who I trained other, this is, here's some matches, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to look at that guy every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some guys don't get it. Like, some guys, like, they go to school. I think they need to go to another school to, like, how to become a business person.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
I've kind of looked at that for a while of like, wrestling schools should have a business social media component because that's completely a part of it these days.
I agree. And listen, and I'm a firm believer, and this is no knock on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's somebody watching, I don't want anybody to take it personally because every time I come on this,
so far like I preach from the chat room. So
I mean,
and it's not Rev.
Listen, every time I've come on here over the years, somebody's always hit me up that I was like personally attacking them afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a personal attack. This is just my philosophy. You go to a wrestling school
mm-hmm.
outside of WWE or something like that, or like a major school. If you go to an indie school, learning the moves is one part of it. But you should also have a promo class.
Mm-hmm.
And when myself and Super Hentai ran the IWC school, we would bring in Labar and Dombrowski.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was the best. They came in and just kind of give you an overview of, cutting a promo and whatnot. And I thought it was, I think it should be mandatory.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest with you. Like, and this goes for the Four Horsemen. I love those guys,
mm-hmm.
which on a side note, just sidetrack, the Horseman name, the Four Horsemen, wasn't my idea. It was Jesse DeMarc's. I just took the name that he came up with and I ran with it. I did something with
mm-hmm.
it. So, but anywho, those guys, I'll be honest with you. You get them four together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, a couple months ago when they did a promo, I thought it was shit. They can't talk
mm-hmm.
because nobody's taught them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing with I just went to the IWC graduation school. I love all the guys. And I thought everybody did well. But there was some of them that you could tell had no idea what they were doing talking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they got lost. They just can't translate the words. So you need that, right? And that's the other thing with, like, I'm trying to help with the 2PW stuff is, we've been able to, fortunate enough, we got it running now. We got a backstage guy that we're going to try to do more promo work and stuff like that to help. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to be the end all be all in the area. That's not what the goal is. I want guys to be able to have an opportunity, fair shake. We had, with me and Jason Gorey and Shima or DJZ and Mickey, when we came up, we had the opportunity because we came out of the school, but we were on shows every month, and we were in real matches in IWC.
Hey, who trained you again?
Hentai and Shirley Doe.
I was Hentai and Shirley Doe those days.
Yes.
And if anybody's character is Shirley Doe.
Hell yeah. Nothing but respect.
Like still.
Much love.
I mean, I'm getting threatened by him at ringside at least once a month.
Yes.
Yes. But so you had that base coming out of there, and plus you were like, you were rubbing elbows with a lot of guys out for Ring of Honor. So like there was a lot of kind of exposure.
Yeah, there was. But the reality of the situation today is it's not the same.
No.
There's just too many guys. There's not enough spots.
Yeah.
But those guys don't get that. Whereas we had that opportunity coming out, and we knew it wasn't a question. We knew we were in, and I'm not just talking about 2-minute squash matches. We were in actual matches. So we had that time to get our reps in and shit like that. You don't have that today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. I mean, even like in my case with 2PW, it's hard in the sense that, I have all these guys that want to come in, and then I have the guys that are actually on the roster, and then I'm trying to make everything fit in, but I'm not trying to make the show run too long. I'm not trying to get people tired. I want people to stay engaged in it. So it's hard. And I've had conversations with the locker room. It's like, guys, if I don't book you on the show, it's nothing personal. We're just trying to. And
that is the same conversation I've heard several places.
Yeah.
So it is just the
it's a numbers game.
So many people.
Yeah.
And then as a wrestler, like they also need to kind of say why you need them on the show too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Speaking of, I just wanted to bring this up real quick because we were talking about the casket match earlier.
Yeah.
And we were talking about before the show. We had Tyler Klein recording here last night. It'll be in the podcast feed in the next couple of weeks, but you can go check out the Facebook Live if you'd like. I believe his first show in Pittsburgh was 2PW. And by the way, I think he talked about it. Like he went and he helped out and everything.
Yeah.
So that's how he got on the radar.
Yeah.
And you guys like, hey, we need you for the show.
Yeah.
I think he was filling in for Gory, which
yes.
I have other questions about that. So, like you booked the entire opposite of Gory to fill in for him. And then he was informed it was a casket match. So his first.
I did not know it was his first.
First in Pittsburgh.
I didn't know that. And that's. Wow, I wish somebody would have said that to me. Shit. But it wasn't bad.
No, it was great.
It was good. I thought it was good. It had me fooled.
He came out. He did a thing with Kayla. They use her as a co-rack and everything. I thought he had been doing this in the area. I thought like, he's doing this like up at Eclipse or somewhere that I don't see or something, right? And it was like, hey, it's kind of like welcome to the business, kid. Get in the casket.
Well, the thing is with him too is Tyler and Calvin, they're going to be coming on board. Well, Tyler's, I consider him to be on the 2PW roster.
Right.
He's coming back, definitely. Yeah. But him and...
somebody's got to dig him out of that casket first.
Yes. Him and Calvin, they're going to come in. Calvin will be coming on the roster in 2020. And,
good.
We got some ideas for 20... Now that we're established, and we made it a year. Thank God, because, there was times I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work a year. The original idea for 2PW was to run 2 or 3 times a year, and that was it.
Yeah, I remember those conversations.
And then it's just kind of...
I'm like, where'd all these dates come from?
Yeah, it started steamrolling, and now it's to the point where it's like we got 10 shows next year with maybe some more in there. So...
the first year already, like 3 venues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah. Yeah, so I'm not gonna say what it is, but we're gonna do something. We're gonna bring back some elements of the past this year. So hopefully nobody's doing it right now in the area. So we're gonna try to do that, strike some magic there with that, and see what happens. It's gonna be a busy year. Listen, I got a list. I'm not shitting you. I got a list about 50 people that want to come work.
Mm-hmm.
And some are guys that have been around. Some of them are new. But it's just the idea of we're trying to tell good stories. And sometimes when you're telling a good story, you can't just pop somebody in right away. So, and we might put Tyler in another casket.
That'll be his thing. He pops up, gets thrown in our casket.
Just comes out. Maybe we do it where they bring Cascade and he has like a different outfit on every time. Just saying.
Awesome.
I love him. He's a good dude. He's a real good. Everybody should book him. He's a good guy.
So just to close out here, because I know we're on a deadline here for the day. What's the best and worst thing about your first year of promoting?
You know what the best is just having a locker room of guys that want to be there. Everybody's there having a good time. There's no stress. I'm stressed. I'm stressed at every fucking show, but more so of guys coming up to me afterwards and saying, you know what, the locker room's great. I want to be here. We're having fun doing this. That makes you feel good, right? It makes you feel like there's some success in it. You know, not that we got the biggest crowds, but we are drawing. You know, we're not millionaires at this. I don't think nobody is at this point. And I think we're growing a fan base slowly. You know, and here's the thing: none of these companies were successful overnight. I mean, Ben reminds me that a couple times a week that, you know, I'm trying to go here to here, but it's like, well, other guys are doing that, but
you did start off with like IWC in the mid 2000s.
I did.
So that is like kind of a
it's
first,
hard.
kind of a you know, you're starting off in your RWA 10 years ago now.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? That's exactly. I mean, it's nice to get like guys like that you've worked with in the past. Like you get like Chuck Roberts, who is, you know, kind of blessed it and signed off on it, and actually come back and work for you for a show. You know, Norm's been very positive. You know, talking to him, I'll talk to him from time to time. I mean, he's been very positive about it. So overall, happy. It takes a lot of work. You know, I don't know how some of these shindy companies can do it. I mean, I'm honest with you. Like you got to take the time and the money and put into it. When you don't take that time, it's going to look like shit. And there's enough shitty promotions in the area, and everybody knows who they are. We don't have to sit here and, you know, out them. But when you don't put the time or you take shortcuts, that's when the product hurts. So, but the bad thing, the red tape, the political bullshit that I deal with a lot. It's just, things shouldn't be as hard as they are. It's indie wrestling. This ain't like your real life job. If we were all doing this as our 9 to 5s, then that's different. But I mean, it's insane the amount of BS, and everybody's in it for themselves. Like everybody's got their own. I mean, it's an ego-driven deal, you know. But I don't know, man. There's times that I just want to be like, "Fuck all you." Honest to God, I mean, I don't think there's anybody that I haven't worked with. I'm like at times like, you're a fucking moron. Like, listen, I'm a moron too sometimes, but it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just trying to have fun with it. We got a good thing going for right now. The anniversary show. It's going to be fun.
It's this Saturday, Worthington Civic Center, Worthington, PA. Just if you're in Pittsburgh, just head up 28. You'll find it.
Yeah. Bring a drink. Stop at Sheets on the way.
There you go.
That's a little bit of a drive.
A little bit of a haul, but it's worthwhile. I mean, it's
a very intimate setting.
It is. It is.
Right?
It's a good room. It's
it's one of those kind of rooms you put like 100, 200 people and it feels like it's 500.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we got good groups working with. Like I said, this weekend's Toys for Tots. I mean, the tickets, if you bring an unwrapped toy, are $10. $12 if you don't. We have a group, a local theater group, that's running our concessions area. All the concession money goes to them, so we don't see that. We're just trying to I'm trying to get back. I mean, one thing that I'm proud of is in a year, 2PW has been self-sufficient. I haven't had to take a dime out of my personal,
and that's without concessions, without some of the other things that other people do.
No, everything that we've done has maintained itself.
Good.
You know, and hope it continues that way. and we're having fun. Maybe some women's wrestling, more women's wrestling next year. We'll see. I don't know. That's a big thing.
One last note here. We do have a comment in the chat room other than the preach from earlier when you're talking about the business.
Yeah.
AJ in the chat room says, thank you, Marshall. I'm a recent new fan of 2PW, and the 2 shows I've been to I have loved. It's a great show. Love the 4 Horsemen, especially Jamie.
Everybody loves Jamie. He's like that redneck friend that you have. Where it's like
he's relatable. Yeah.
Oh, he's relatable, especially in that area. I mean, no, but it's listen. We want fans to come. We want it to be a family friendly product. We had those couple Leechburg shows where it's a little more edgier, but you got the bar and stuff like that. But I don't know.
There you go.
You don't want to ask me any other?
No, we're good. We're heading up on our time here.
I'm surprised that you haven't asked me anything that's maybe I could start a controversy or something.
I think you've done enough. Check out ProspectProWrestling.com for information, and of course, you can check out the entire first year of that promotion over at IndyWrestling.network. And several clips, including the entire first Pasta Death Match, is free on YouTube, so you can check it out. Yeah, I wanted to get that out there.
Nice.
We got to make a name for you, man. If that name happens to rhyme with pasta, then that's fine.
That's great. It's fun. Real quick on a side story. So I don't know. So Mambo hates Olive Garden. Mm-hmm. We all know that, right?
Yep.
So
if you follow him anywhere on social media, you know that.
So when we started doing this, we were talking about getting pasta and breadsticks from Olive Garden. He hated it, right? So I always bust his balls, right? So last Saturday when I seen him, I come up to him and I said, Mambo, fuck Olive Garden. And he looks at me and I said, no, I'm serious. Fuck Olive Garden. He looks at me, he has that look, and I'm like, I went to Olive Garden, Mambo, a week ago. I said, I'm sitting down, I'm eating a bowl of pasta. And I take a bite. And I said, I had something hard in my mouth. I thought it was like a noodle that was like overcooked or something. No, it was a piece of plastic. And he looks at me and goes, see, you going to fucking Olive Garden. Fuck Olive Garden.
Cameraman Rob, who's filmed many of your shows, says not too late to make the P stand for, one of the P's stand for pasta and 2PW.
Oh my God. 2 Pasta Wrestling.
Pasta Pro Wrestling.
Oh. Well, what Jimmy D calls it.
Prostate Pro, right? Yeah. I've heard Prostate Pro. I've heard Marshall Pro. So
Gambino Championship Wrestling.
Wrestling.
That's a Dan Hooven thing.
There you go. That's what they did with all the moving company money.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Marshall, for joining us again on the show. Always a pleasure. We'll have to get you back on when hopefully Mickey swings in town sooner or later.
I hope so too. Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned. We had a lot of fun.
Hey, wait, real quick though. Where is the Christmas party this year?
The Christmas party?
Yeah, the one where you usually get blacked out drunk and lay on the floor and STDs show up?
Well, I don't know. We haven't officially scheduled the STD. I don't know. They told me to come to their party, so with the camera or something. So I have to touch base with
you should one chip challenge
about that. One chip challenge.
One chip challenge.
Well, there's the part where I was so drunk that I didn't realize I didn't take the one chip challenge and got worried right before I threw up on the internet.
Holy fuck, that's great. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. And thank everybody, guys. Please go support Prospect Pro Wrestling, support indie wrestling. If you can't get out there, support the wrestling in your backyard, support it on the internet, wherever. Support the guys, most of all, of course. Thank you so much. Until next time, please support all that stuff. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.